bro. Before we start, I just wanted to, let you know, thank you also for coming on to share your story, because people hear things and they think they know things, but while talking to you pioneers that actually been there, and we talked about it before, about people being in certain places, and you heard so many stories, you could put yourself there.
Exactly. And I will not do that to you, because I can't. It's that you're going to find out in this interview, depending on, if you ask me, look at this pen following me for, get out of here. You're going to find out the things I haven't experienced and the things I haven't done. And you would think I have,
Right.
And I wish my partner Chuck City was here, because, he's another one. He's what they call it, unsung. He's an unsung DJ. And
we'll get him on. We'll get him on. As long as he's willing to do one, we'll get him on.
He's an unsung DJ where, like when it comes to this record game, it's because of him. It's because of him. I got a family member. His name is another Tony Tone, and it's funny. His name is, he went by the name of T-Bird. It was funny because we had a crew called Mean Machine back in the days. This song gonna be remembered though.
Wait, Mean Machine?
Yeah.
What that put out? What song did they put out?
No.
Oh, not them. Okay.
Nah, we could. If you want to wait for that, I'll hit you with that too. But no, I'll give you a clip of that. That Mean Machine came about. I'm gonna give you the short version of that. I grew up 143rd in the Bronx. 143rd between Alexander Avenue, 3rd Avenue, and Willis Avenue. Boom. We used to play in Clark Park.
I didn't live too far from there.
Wow.
I lived on 153rd, and between Melrose and Elton.
Yeah, you was in Melrose. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
Forest. Okay, Melrose. Yeah, that's what's up. So what happened? We doing our thing. We playing in a park called Clark Elijah High School, junior high school. 144th between 3rd and Willis. And we doing our thing in the park, doing what we do. And all of a sudden, about 1981, we hear this song. I hear this song on the radio on Paco, KTU, 92 KTU. Yo, if you want to listen to me, listen to Paco Pico Cafe. So, that type joint, right? And he says, I got this group. And the song comes on. And I'm like, pull up to the bumper. All right. Party people. Oh, you ready? Okay. Harry, everything was cool until he go, we're the disco dream called Mean Machine.
Mean Machine.
Like, what? It was a wrap. I made so many phone calls that day, and that's before cell phones. I'm like, I gotta remember numbers. I'm like, oh man, turn on 92, man. This Mean Machine is on, and it ain't us. And Cass was like, yo, get out. They put it on. It was crazy. I was actually hurt, man, because I'm sitting there going, we didn't have the name copyright. We didn't have no label. We didn't have no label.
A lot of that stuff people didn't think about back in them days, about copyrighting and holding on to your name. There was no domain names out back then, so you just named your crew and that was it.
Oh no, it's even crazier now. Like, to be honest, I'm not the only Rockin Rob I found out. Not just now, but I knew this for years. You go on Google, dude, there's a Rockin Rob, he's a saxophone player. There's a Rockin Rob, he's a karaoke person DJ. Then there's another one that's a DJ, and he does weddings and all that. And I'm sitting there going, the only difference is with me was originally my name was spelled with a G, Rock King, like King. And I dug that King, because I'm trying to tell. I'm not trying, but I'm about to terrorize some stuff. But then somebody did a flyer and took the G off and put Rock in. And I was like, damn, I like that. That's kind of cool, like Rockin' Chair, but and I've been rocking ever since. But before that, I was Rock King. I was King. So, but yeah.
So let's take this back to the beginning.
Yes, sir.
I know we already pre-started one, but let's take this back to the beginning.
Yes.
You can tell everybody your government name if you want.
Okay.
Let us know how you got your Rockin Rob name and what year you actually started in this DJ game.
Okay. So I'm gonna give them a government because I don't want people. I'm gonna skip the government because there's some people that don't know why. I wouldn't mind, but you know, you got some people like, oh yeah, I'm gonna look him up. We're like, oh yeah, his social is. Oh wait a minute, he got 18 kids. I ain't know that. So no, start to go back to the like Jimmy Castle. What we're gonna do right here is go back way back at the time. How this all came apart. How this all came together. I had a brother, R.I.P. rest in peace. He was family brother, but he was my brother, and his name was Tiny Time, and DJ Tiny Time. I got taste. Matter of fact, I can send you some music too.
Okay. And
what ended up happening was we met up one time, and there was this DJ named Raul, Spanish DJ. He used to play in 54 Park, 138th Street, which is Mitchell Projects.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to play in this park called 54 Park. He was no cutting, no scratching. I wanted to be him. That's how nasty he was. He was his blend game was impeccable.
Right.
And my D at the time when I met Tiny, he was, I met him as Tiny, and then later on we got into the DJ thing. But we used to run into each other at 54 Park, and then we just kicked it. We both loved to wear red, did that, and then we connected. And what ended up happening, he was one of the baddest B-boys on the planet. It was him. I'm gonna mention 4. I know I'm jumping off base right now, but this is the leader. It was him, a guy named Kokomo, that is still living to this day. This guy named Rudy, Little Rudy. Cat was nasty, and he battled this cat named Clark Kent at 54 Park. And the record they was losing it on was The Legend of Baby Huey. It was the craziest B-boy battle you ever wanted to see in your life. And before Michael Jackson did that, moonwalking and all that.
Yeah.
Rudy I brought him to my crib one time. It was crazy. He did this dance called Walking on Air. And it was like moonwalking without pushing off your feet. He used to just let his feet just glide one on top of, like, side by side, and it looked like he was walking on air. So one day he was twisted. That's when they was puffing, doing a little something. He came to the crib, and I threw on Give It Up, Turn It Loose, and put on a strobe light. And you had to see it. It was crazy. And he's in my room, and I'm like, oh my God. So, the clap your hands, stomp your feet, Clyde. We just started ripping it. I'm like, this is nuts. But anyway, we're gonna swing back a little bit, go back again, because I get excited just thinking about this. How I got my name was, I have a son. His name is DJ Flawless, DJ Extraordinaire. I mean,
we're gonna have him on another time.
Yeah, my son, DJ Flawless, DJ Extraordinaire. He's ridiculous with it. I used to date his moms, and me and his moms got together. And then, as time went on from dating, we had a child. We had him, and her name is Trudy, and she used to DJ, and she went by the name of Trudy True. Okay, and she did my James Brown Give It Up, Turn It Loose mix. I'm like, huh? And we used to put her out in the park so she could bring the crowd. Yeah. And they would check her out, and they was like, yo. And as soon as she got the crowd, we kick her off. Anyway.
That's hater.
Yeah. Because, there wasn't too many women DJs out there.
Right.
So by doing that, it was crazy because she brought the crowd. A lot of times she brought the crowd. It was like a girl DJ. And she held on. She held on, when she did a thing back then. But anyway, her mother, which is my son's grandmother, we used to play up at the house. We used to play up at their house in Mount Haven Projects, 340. We used to play up in the house. And she heard me, I used to go up there, in the beginning, I was trying to figure it out, but not at the house. At the house, I had a little something then. And she said, I used to go by DJ Rob. That was my name, DJ Rob. straight to the point. I'm a simple cat.
No,
And
nothing
she goes-
else.
And no, nothing fancy because I ain't think that way, you know. And one day she goes, we formed Mean Machine. And that's thanks to my brother, Tony Tone, which is AKA T-Bird.
Right.
And we had two groups. We had a group called Tiny Time, myself, and Tin Man. We would call Masters of All Turntables. And that was what they would call now the hip hop version. Right. And then we had a disco version, and they would call Funk Train. And that was T-Bird, Star the Show DJ Mo, and Stretch. Stretch is from Mitchell's, Mo and T-Bird was from Our Haven along as myself. And one day we used to have battles in the house. We'd go dollar parties and whatnot, sell pink champagne,
rent parties, remember all of that?
Yeah, pink champagne, golden champagne, dollar party, you know.
And Slits malt liquor.
There you go. And what ended up happening was at times when we wouldn't let certain people in the parties, they used to stick the elevator. And we had a high floor that you had to get to at the time, which was the 15th floor. And it was like, oh, y'all not letting us in the party? Okay. So, but we still had people actually, girls and guys, man. You talk about we high school.
Walked up 15 flights. And we would play, check this out, we would play all the way to daybreak. I would leave the house, Tiny still playing Ain't No Half Stepping for about an hour and some change. And then we continued it the next night. That was Friday. And we would come back Saturday, do it all over again. But anyway, Tiny's moms, which is Trudy's moms, my son's moms. She heard me play. We had the set up in the living room, and when we formed Mean Machine, thanks to my brother T-Bird, he got the name from The Longest Yard. The football team was called Mean Machine. Yep. So he said one day we had a meeting. Burt Reynolds, the Burt Reynolds version.
The Burt Reynolds one, yes sir. The Burt Reynolds one, because the other one wasn't even out yet. Because we talking about 1978. We had a meeting in his room. I even got the picture. That's what's crazy. We had a meeting in his room, and he goes, "Yo, we should put the two groups together and call ourselves Mean Machine." I was like, "Whoa." Hey, now before the Mean Machine part happened. Mama, we used to call her Mama. Mama said, "Rob, we got to change your name. DJ Rob is too plain. We're going to make you Rockin Rob." I said, "Huh?" I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Because that's like you're getting promoted. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, "Yo, I'm just playing cat. I don't know nothing about that." She said, "No." She said, you can make them turntables talk. You can make music. You can make it talk." And I'm sitting
tweet.
And my song was Rockin' Robin. But I never understood what she meant at that time because I had to grow into the name. The name was over me. I was kind of like nervous to have the name because when you got incredible GrandMaster, whatever.
GrandMaster.
Like, okay, what's incredible about you? What do you do? And at that time I was just playing music. But then I learned how to do certain things and within self. And, I saw some, we had DJs that came in the park and stuff like that. They was doing a thing. But my whole goal to this day is to do what other people are not doing, to play what other people are not playing. So that's when Rockin Rob came out. So, and that was 1978. Now I started DJing when I got the bug was 76 from DJ Raul. I saw him cue up a record, put the needle on the record, slide this button in the middle that's later in my ear. It was called a crossfader. And he picked up the needle on the record that he just finished releasing. And as soon as he did that, it was some Doug Henning magic trick. I said, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And I met him. I met him later on. But he doesn't realize what's the amazing thing is that this cat is my mentor and he doesn't even know it.
Right. He's
the reason why I wanted to be a DJ to this day.
Wow.
To this day. I even borrowed one of his mixes. I stole it. I'll say borrow for the sake of TV. I borrowed it. And anytime I play this song, I'll do this mix behind it. I'll tell you that another time. I can't get into that right now because then everybody gonna be like, yo, it'll make sense after I tell you. I'm gonna tell you, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you off camera, and you're gonna be like, get out of here. But yeah, it's because of this cat Raul that, thank God for him. And you know what's amazing is that I experienced that myself, where Cat said, yo, dude, I saw you play and you gave me the reason to want to be a DJ. And I'm sitting there going, I didn't think that was possible, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think I inspired anybody. I love to have fun, no drama. I live in a drama-free zone. And my thing was, yo, whatever you do, have fun, do it. Be the best at it as you can be. Don't be somebody else, be you, your own creativity and the whole nine. So as time went on, I'm listening to what people were doing, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, let me see what I could come up with. You know what I mean? Because originally, before these turntables, I was a drummer.
Wow, a serious, real musician.
Oh, no. That's why I play how I play, because that's from musicianship. I started playing drums at 9 years old, off of oatmeal boxes, pots and pans, and then 2 number 2 pencils with the erasers. And I used to bing bong bong, bing bong bong bong. And I never did. I had a neighbor, rest in peace. His name was Ray. He used to be my next door neighbor in my Haven, and he must have got wind that I played drums or whatever, and I like to play drums or whatever. So he so happened he had like a junior drum set, white pearl. I'll never forget it. White pearl drum set, 4-piece. Never gonna forget this. And he goes, yo, you want a drum set? I got a drum set. I said, yo, okay, how much? So I think at the time it was like $100. You know, back then $100 was like, yo, dude.
A lot of money.
But, you know, gave it to him. I had a Christmas club at the time. Remember? Dollar Savings Bank.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Christmas clubs. Wow.
Let's take it. So I had a Christmas club. Got my 100. Gave it to him. Got the drum set. And that was my starter kit, you know. And then later on, I moved up in ranks in drums, and my dad bought me a drum set. Wasn't the one I wanted, but, you know, 'cause he wanted me to go to drum school. Oh, you need to go to drum school, da-da-da, because he had his idea who drummers were.
Right.
And then his drummer was Buddy Rich. But then I had to tell him, I say, Pops, you know, Buddy Rich is, you know, one of the greatest of all times, but there's some things that Buddy Rich don't know. Yeah. Make a long story short, after I said what I said, I ain't gonna do that to cover, you know, public knowledge so that they can sit there and go, yo, he ain't say that. Anyway, what I did was I used to collect these catalogs from Ludwig. That's the name of the drum set that I turned it out to be. It was a Japanese drum set. Went to Sam Ash, 48th Street, between 7th and 6th Ave.
That's in Manhattan for everybody who don't know.
Yes, thank you, sir. And he goes, okay, you know, pick out a drum set. Yo, saw this Sling-A-Line, name of a drum set, maple pearl, cymbals all over the place, 5
drooling, right?
I was like, yes. I said, Pops. At that time, it was $385. I said, yo, Pops, I want that. He said, you ain't getting that. I said, okay. So now I had to go to the discount budget wall. So I look at the wall, I'm like, nah, take that. You know? And it was which I have a picture of it too. It's a blue sparkle drum set. I took that and was grateful. You know, beggars can't be choosing. I ain't got no job. At that time I'm like 12 years old, you know?
Yeah.
So what ended up happening, I took my catalog out. And then I had another drum set. I took one of the tom-toms because my favorite drummer of all times was Buddy Miles. That's like the modern day Questlove with the afro, you know.
Right.
Only thing, he didn't have a pick in his head. So I went ahead. What I did was I stripped off all the laminated color off each drum, took off all the keys, took off all of the skin, and I recovered it. So I went ahead to what's his name? A hardware store, and got some zebra stripe contact paper and re-wrapped the whole drum set.
Wow.
I have it to this day.
Wow.
Went ahead, I bought some clear Remo skins with the black dot, cymbals, hi-hat, everything was Ludwig at that point because nobody was gonna know unless you got that close and go, that ain't no Ludwig, man. That's bootleg. You know, that's Ludwig. That ain't Ludwig.
Rudwick.
Ludwig. But no, I have the drum set to this day, and it looks just like it did when I had it from back then. Yeah, so I had the drum set over. You talking about 19? I redid it in 70. I got it in 72. I redid it around 73.
This is when they made stuff to last.
Yeah. So the drum set is technically, it's about 50 years old.
It's older than me.
Yeah, yo, listen, yo, I ain't going there. But yeah, so that's my humble beginnings, and then we made our debut in the park. Because I used to play under the dome with my little house speakers and my little guitar amp and whatnot.
Right.
Did that. We used to draw a little crowd, so we had a little something. And then later on, because it was all about the DJs then, we ain't had no MCs.
Right.
Then we had MCs because basically what I wanted to do, the goal was to keep it family. Even friends/family. Friends make, your real friends you call family. You go come out, you break bread, each other's house, all that. And I said, yo, man, so my whole goal was, while everything is going around, when the record thing started, I'm like, okay, that was our turning point where we kind of we fell back because everybody was making records now and they were performing their records. It wasn't about street performing anymore. You know what I mean? So, and with that comes drama with the crew too. You know what I mean? Because then everybody's, what they wanted out of this was different. And that's when we all parted because what I wanted and what the rest of the crew wanted was different things. Some of the crew members did want the same thing, but they weren't part of the hip hop portion of it. It was the fellas that was started getting into the grown folks music. And that's the way I started going later on because, hip hop was okay at the time. At the time, It was great. But then after a while, it's you needed a permit to play in the park, you had to turn it off. Then people were getting their set snatched, and all that, which I didn't have to worry about that because I knew people.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't worry about that anyway because, on some straight up tip, I would have died for my set. And I really do mean it. That's how much I love my set. And, but that's basically the beginnings.
Of DJ Rockin Rob. Rockin Rob.
Yes. I'll take it with the N, without the G. I like it without the G. The King was cool, but I like it with the N. It's all good.
So, getting off topic a little with the groups.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see then that was kind of the downslope of the groups when people started going individually? You had your Furious 5, you had your all the other groups that was out there, Treacherous 3, all of them. What was that the start of everybody going solo and the groups breaking up? You think?
When I came on the scene in 78, I was still making my way. I was treading water. You know what I mean? Cats was swimming. I didn't get to that stage yet. But one of a couple of groups that I admire is Furious 5, Cold Crush Brothers, Fantastic Romantic. And the thing that's ironic is DST now DXT, when his crew, we Infinity, when we got a chance to rock with them at PAL. At that time, that's when music was fun because it wasn't just about there was one sound system and you played off of it. You had to bring your own system.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a double entendre. It's okay, not only you have to be good, but your system got to sound like something.
Your system got to sound as good as you.
Right. Or you're going to get swallowed. And coming up, my brother, he goes by the name of Tony. And he got me into stereo. Like my dad had a little something, but my brother was the one. He was a stereo head. You know, he was into like Nakamichi and all these stuff you can't pronounce. So I'm like, okay, I go with the bootleg stuff. I can afford that. That's cool. You know,
Gemini.
But, yeah, you know, hey, I still rock Gemini. But anyway, no. But what happened was there was groups like, which I gotta pay homage to. You had that don't get shout outs is Masters Production, Tony and Horny Horn. That was a bad crew. They used to come out, play in the square of My Haven, which was on like around 140, between 143rd, 142nd, between Willis and Alexander Avenue. And yo,
in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, thank you. They used to do their thing. Then right next to them, you had CC and Company. My man, Dr. Dust, shout out to him. You know, they used to come in the park, do their thing. Then, and that's the My Haven section, even though they was from Millbrook, Cypress type deal. Then in the Patterson area, you had Brothers Bass. There was a crew called Brothers Bass. Yo, dude, they had all kind of speakers, B. Some of them ain't even match. But when you came out there, yo, they had an amp for each speaker type deal. But their system sounded good. You know, they sounded good. You had Brothers Bass. You had Ricky D and Al G. And matter of fact, the ideas I got from them was Al G, he had these bass bins. They were little small compact joints, but they like kind of like long throw. They're like baby long throws.
Yeah.
Like, oh, them are cute. I want to pair them. You know, but at that time I had no job. So
right.
But I just wanted to shout out those brothers. You know, my man MC Ralphie, because Ralphie used to rock with us at one point. He was one of our MCs at one time. He came aboard with us. And but yeah, it was back
in Uptown you had Breakout and all of them.
Yeah, Breakout and them you had Uptown. But this is Breakout and Baron. I've always heard of them, but I never saw them because these are the cats. I was a neighborhood cat, you know, and it wasn't until we had a manager. His name was Rudy Root, and he was our manager. And he got us to do Queens. That's how we got recognized in Queens. You know, he had family out there. We used to drive out there in his father's station wagon, his grandfather's station wagon, drive out there like 10 deep and equipment, you know, but it was house speakers. And we started doing their block parties and stuff. But then later on after Rudy, I had a brother named Tiny, another Tiny. And he was the leader of the group called the Casanovas.
I've heard of them.
And what ended up happening was Tiny used to do security for Flash. And what ended up happening, he heard me, and he was like, yo, he stepped to me one day and said, yo, man, I want to be a manager, you know? And then, you know, out of respect, went to Rue, said, yo, Rue, you know, this guy can take us to this place, you know, to another level. And, you know, I just want to let you know how you feel about it, yada, yada. Because, you know, everything was done diplomatically and out of respect. And I gotta give credit where credit's due. Tiny was the one that got us to play at the PAL. Actually, he got me to play with Flash. That was because of him. We did PAL, Ecstasy Garage. You know, we did the T Connection once. Well, we did the T. But he's a lot of people had their hand in the pot where it comes where they were responsible for me being who I am right now. I didn't do this by myself, you know, right. And I don't claim as if I did. I'm made up of so many people, it's ridiculous. That's why when a person hears me play, they're not just hearing me, they hear me like they're hearing gumbo. They hearing all of this stuff wrapped up, all mixed up. Yeah. You know, the records, I used to play standards. I Can't Stop, Rocket in the Pocket, Bob James, all that. This is where Chuck City comes in at. Chuck City, my partner now, he comes in, it's like, yo, I used to tell him about a record. Yo, I heard this record, man. Yo, da-da-da-da. One of the main records I needed that he got for me, which was incredible, was a song called Pussyfoot.
Yes.
By Jackie Robinson. Yo.
Yeah.
There was this group, gotta shout them out. My man Fly T, shout you out. He had a group called the Wiki Wizards from Batanzas Projects in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
From Batanzas.
Thank you.
I'm in there. They playing music. Had a nice system. They rocking. Hit it. Boom, boom, back. Yo, I said, what is he saying? What is she saying? I couldn't make out what she was saying. And I have people laughing to this day because I thought she was saying "comme si, comme ça." You know what I'm saying? And when I found out what it was saying pussyfoot.
Pussyfooter, yeah.
But she did it like in like a French. It was a Canadian, I believe it's a Canadian record. But the accent, the way she sang it, I'm like, oh, I need that. Mm-hmm. So that's with him. And rest in peace, my man Chuck, E Boogie. His name is E Boogie. And they were like record dinosaurs, kid. They was the Encyclopedia Britannica of records. And that's how my game got upscale, because they used to play the Bambaataa, you know, the Jazzy J. Shout out to my man Jazzy J. He used to play the Bambaataa, Jazzy J type stuff. And I'm sitting there going, he was like, yo, Rob, you gotta upgrade your game. Because when Chuck used to play with me, he used to play that stuff that they used to play up in Bronx River, them Zulu beats. And when he came in Clark, see, what was bad about back in the days, the park we played in, they had to be spoon-fed. As long as it was standards, you had them. If they heard something off the cuff, they were like, I'm confused, you know? But he didn't care. I was like, yo, I told him one time, I wish he was here. I said, yo, Chuck, they ain't ready for that. He said, I don't care. And he would just keep hitting them upside the head, and they left confused. Now, where that changed was one day, he did a gig in 18 Park in Patterson Projects in the Bronx. This is like off of Morris Avenue between 3rd and Morris. And he was playing with this guy named DJ JB. Yo, Spanish cat had a stupid system. Oh, Lord. You can hear him from one project to the next project, B. That's how loud his stuff was. Because my project was right up the block. And
JB playing.
Yo, I'm like, yo, JB's there. You can hear the bass. Yo, this cat, yo, I got educated. Anyway, Chuck said, yo, Rob, get on. I said, huh? Because I was coming to support him. Yeah. They invited him to play. It wasn't me. And he let me cut up this record. We call it Doing the Dukes. Lord have mercy. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I was making it do something.
But it was doing something.
Yeah, because when he threw it on, I was like, oh my goodness. But anyway, but yeah, that's the foundation of Mean Machine. And I miss back in the day so much because it gave us a way, you know, like, you know how you got spoken word, you know, you can be you. You can drive the train now. You know, it's like you can be who you want to be. Now, some people, they accepted you depending on the rep that you had or what have you, and some people like, eh. And I always believe in respecting people and being humble. Stay humble at all times, man. Even people that may not treat me right, whatever, it's all good. You know what I mean? I'll give you love out the gate. And if I get it back, great. If I don't, it's all good, man. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we shouldn't have haterade on nobody, B.
No.
You know, we all here to learn. Your gifts are not just your gift; they're God's gifts. You know what I mean? And they were passed down to our parents, so when they birthed us, we were able to do what we do. You know what I mean? But I can't take credit for this whole thing called hip hop, man. I'm just glad to be a part of it. You know, and whatever my contribution, what people feel my contribution is, I thank them for that. You know, and with all of that, you know, then I had a son, which that was my greatest gift of all times. You know what I mean? So.
I've seen your son. What did he cut up? MC Hammer. Yes.
Yo, dude, it's 4.8 million.
I looked at that. I was like, I was drooling. I'm like, yo. Cannot wait to interview this dude.
He's what I love and respect about my son, DJ Flawless, is that he took what I did or what he saw me do, and he took it to umpteen heights. And I have nothing but respect and love for him, and I'm glad for him. I support him. And I never forget, I had a cat one time. I was playing in a park, and this cat said, yo, man, your son's better than you. I said, he's supposed to be. That means I did my job. Can't hate on I'm not gonna hate on my kid.
For real.
Come on, he's supposed to be. That means I did my job. I wouldn't want it to be where I could slay him. Then it's like, what did I do? You know, because you're only as good as the person that follows you, that you taught, that's your bloodline, or somebody that's your your protege or what have you. But I encourage, man, like there's certain things I will give you what they call jewels and trinkets. I'll give you those, but you got to be careful in this game, because be careful who you give what to, because sometimes people, they take what you give them and they run with it, and you get no love for it, and they make it theirs, and it's like, oh yeah, I've been doing this all the time. I'm like, huh? You know,
like, no, bro. I told you this last week, and you regurgitated it to me.
Yeah,
like you thought of it.
It's just crazy, and I mean, and you know, going on Tone now is yo, I appreciate him so much, because I would have. One thing about me, there's cats out here, Grandmaster Cavs, you know, Cold Crush, you know, the groups I named before, Africa Islam. I mean, there's cats that I've played with, Herb, Bam, I played with Jay, Red. These cats, Hollywood, there's cats that I never thought I would ever play with or never meet. You know, I got guys, Biz was one of my dudes. Me and Biz used to kick it. And this is off the record where people, I don't have to say the relationship me and Biz had. Me and Biz had a relationship. Shout out to my man, Undercover Brother. That's my dude. But Breakbeat Lou, you had cats that you sit there and you buy their records and not knowing that, because I told a couple of them that. I said, yo, dude, I never thought I would meet you. I thought besides playing with you, I never thought I would even meet you. I got your records in my house. And it was like, nah, man, you know, blah, 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 you know, you know, we good. To me, it's overwhelming for me, and it's amazing. It really is, because
Rob, to be on the real, I didn't mean to cut you off, but be on the real, when I first seen you at Crotona Park, I thought the same thing.
Wow. Like,
yo, I would never meet this dude. And then I think I had on that shirt with the play button, the pause, the record.
Yes.
And you was like, yo, dope shirt. And then somehow we end up taking pictures. I don't know where any of the pictures are, but we end up taking pictures.
Yes, we did.
Then we exchanged information.
Yes.
Because you had I was living in Virginia at the time.
I remember.
You had family out there, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah, no, you know what is I come to find
out. And I wasn't supposed to be there.
Wow.
Because me and my boys were supposed to have been going somewhere else, but they got busy, and I was like, okay, I'll just come to New York. That way we can all be together.
Glad you made it, man.
Oh man. And now this is happening because of that one day.
Yes. Sometimes it takes something simple for something major to happen. And to this day, you know, I'm just in awe, man. I love what I do because, you know what I mean? It's monetary. I would love it. Anybody on a high, brother, you know, but I mainly do stuff out of the love of the culture and out of the love of what I do and what I was given the gift to do. And my goal and my reward is to make you move, make you dance, pat your feet, whatever. But I want you to enjoy what I do. Basically, my job is to take you on a journey. You know, shout out to Ralph McDaniels. One day, me and him kicked it, and Sway him as well. And one day, Ralph told me, he says, yo, when Rob plays, he tells a story. And that's all I ever wanted, is because I even told my son, and this is some real, I said, you have not reached your ultimate level in DJing until you can break down and cry while doing it.
Yeah. And
I know for some people, like, yeah, what are you talking about? Da, 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 da. And to make that true, is it happened to me many times. There's certain records I play that if I'm gonna do a park jam, I gotta play them first in the house, because if I play them there, I would break down for real. I ain't gonna say what the records are, because then everybody be waiting for it. Like, yeah, here it come.
You're about to cry.
But you know who proved that to me? One day I was watching Jazzy Jeff. Shout out Jazzy Jeff. I was watching Jazzy Jeff at on on his lunchtimes, his lunch break.
Right.
And he was playing something. I can't remember what it was. And he was good. You know, he was doing this thing. And then he was just bobbing his head. And yo, dude, he broke down. And I was like, that answered my question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When a man like that, who I highly respect, made not my theory, but made what I said and what I felt happen, it's not just me. I'm not alone, you know. So yeah.
Is it music one of them crazy things? It can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can make you cry, it can make you jump for joy.
Yes.
It can put you in some type of mode where you're just so relaxed.
Yes.
It can do so many things. One of my boys, shout out DJ heavy hitter DJ Cam, he actually made me cry one day. He was playing and he calls this, he was doing something and he called it a me mix, where he was just playing the songs that he remember as a child. Nice. and growing up, and he threw on Sailing Take Me. And
Christopher Cross, kid.
I'm like this, and they're on the radio. I called him up after. I'm like, bro, you the only one that ever made me cry listening to music.
Yeah,
and that is just so deep, bro.
No, it's awesome, man. It's like you said. When I'm in the park sometimes, minus technical difficulty, I'll be wanting to take people on that Beatles Jackson's journey, where they're screaming and crying. I want to get people there, but sometimes when things don't work out for you as far as technical difficulties concerned, it's hard to reach that. You know what I mean? But that's my intention every time. I'm like, yo, somebody, I'm a teardrop somebody. They gonna get it. Cause I know what I'm feeling, cause I got all of this inside, and I'm like, I just want it to come out. It's oh man, you know how could I best describe it? Was the Jacksons' American Dream. And matter of fact, that cat that played Michael, the older Michael, when he got older, yo, God rest in peace on him, cause he passed away. But he told Angela Bassett, who played, you know, Kate Jackson, he always felt that he was ugly. Okay, boom. But besides that, he told his moms in the movie, he goes, I got all these songs in my head and I just want them to come out. That's how I feel. I got all these mixes that y'all have not heard yet from back then that I want them to come out. But actually, I'm making a CD of that. You know, I'm in the process of doing that because I want to go back to my humble beginnings and not forget where I came from. And all those mixes I remember back then that I still do, I'm going to actually put it out for self. You know, but I bless you because you're my dude. I bless you. I got you. And then you'll understand. Yeah, no, I got you. You're going to understand where, because my music is for everybody, but there's certain things that is not for everybody, because we're in a market now that people are desperate and they need material.
Yes.
So it's like, yo, I need to get that. And there's no one DJ that got all records. If somebody says that they got every record that's out there, they're lying. And I'm gonna say it to their face. I'm gonna say it right now to your face. You're lying. Everybody picks off everybody. Now, that's how you pick it. You could either ask, or now, because I'm kind of sad that they came up with Shazam, but then I'm not. It's like I got mixed feelings on Shazam. I'm glad, but I'm not. This
is a perfect segue. When you finish this, I want to go into some questions that I personally want to know.
Oh,
and the audience is gonna hopefully want to know.
Okay, kick it. Let's go now.
Matter of fact, let's do it now.
Let's go now.
You know, you talking about Shazam and all that, and back in the day. So, for you guys who I started DJing in '81.
Okay.
So I was after y'all's game, 4 or 5 years after.
Okay.
The songs you guys would find and play, how did you come across a Pussyfooter or a Freedom? or any of these songs that are not soul songs, but had that dope beat that y'all just play. How did y'all do that back in the day?
Okay, I can only talk about from my perspective on what I experienced. One, I was fortunate enough to have a brother named T-Bird. You know, him and Tiny, they had a record collection, because I never forget, they were the first ones that I ever heard. I went to their crib, and I was with Tiny at the time when Tiny was here. He played "Blow Your Head" by the JB. I said, "What the hell is that?" And then when the beat came on, I was messed up. I've never heard anything like that. And I was like, yo, and I came by his house another time. I said, yo, you think I could borrow your record? He says, mine, it's my brother's. I said, you think I could borrow? You think you let him? He says, yo, ask him. I said, I ain't asking your brother, man. Yo. But he was so cool that he let me hold it. And I made sure I took care of it, because I didn't want my ass beat. You know what I mean? So we did that. And then when the Pussyfooter came out, again, shout out to my man Fly T from the Wiki Wizards and the Wiki Wizards, Raymond R. Superstar and them. They were playing it, and I heard it, and I mimicked it to my partner Chuck City, and he found it. You know, he was like, "Oh," came to my house, knocked on my door, because they used to get records for me, because they were record collectors. And anything like Bam and them were paid, whatever. When he found out what it was, he would come to my crib, I pay him. You know, I had like a record, what they call it, like a record fund, you know, like you save up a jar with money. So, yo, this is my record money, you know? But they used to go all over the place. And then later on, when I started to do my own digging and learning the art of digging, and Downstairs Records, man.
That was the buzzwords that I wanted you to say, because I think that's an old school thing, digging. I don't know if these new digital MP3 cats do that.
Right.
Because you physically had to take an album or a song from somebody name you didn't even know and just play it.
Yes, indeed.
And then play the next one.
Yes.
And then play the next one, just to look for that little something that you possibly could cut, but how much dirt you had to pull away to get that goal.
No, you're right. Because with Downstairs Records, like I said again, I mean, it takes a village, you know what I mean? And part of that village, you're talking about Elroy.
Downstairs Records, where that at?
Downstairs Records was like on 42nd, 43rd, and 6th Avenue. Downstairs in the train station underneath.
In Manhattan?
In Manhattan. Times Square, the Times Square area. My man Elroy. And he was so cool because he used to go to Lehman High School in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
Go to Lehman. And what ended up happening, one day he heard me play. So I used to come down and visit Downstairs. And what was cool about Downstairs Records, you didn't play the records. You tell them, yo, could you play that joint on the wall? Something you was looking for, you bought it. So I was looking for the Telephone Jam. When I heard that, at the time, Esther Williams, I didn't know who it was. Yo, you got the song, got a telephone in it? Okay, hold on. Something just happened to... Okay, we good. I said, yo, you got this record? Yo, L, me and him started bonding. I said, you got this joint with the telephone? There's a telephone in it. He said, this joint? It's like, I got to stop. I said, yeah! I started screaming, bro. I was like, yeah! So he says, you know, and it was automatic. You don't get one copy of records, you get two.
Right, you get
and at
two.
At the time, the record was going for $10 a piece. Because that was like one of the hottest records on the planet. And it had like 4 joints on it that people didn't know about, but that's whatever.
Right.
I said, so when we was tallying up my records, I said, yo, got my Space Funk from him, from Fraternity label, that record that plays backwards and the beat comes in. That's what? So anyway, I said, yo, L, tally me up. I said, yo, what I owe? He said, you owe me so-and-so. I said, yo, you good? I said, yo, something wrong, you know? He said, yo, the telephone joints was on him. He gave them to me. I was like, damn.
Wow.
And then the other joint I got from him down there too, Frisco Disco. The peppermint joint.
The peppermint, yep. I still got two of them, the originals.
I got one for you. Two-parter. Shout out to my man Benji. Benji was another cat that if you sung the song, any song to him, disco, house, whatever, at the time disco, he'll know exactly what you was talking about.
He was Shazam at the time.
He was the human Shazam. But I got one for you. I got Frisco Disco. I don't know if you're ready for this. I got Frisco Disco without the peppermint. It's black 12-inch.
Really?
With no color. Yes, sir.
I never even knew they made a different version.
And then shout out to Undercover Brother, who runs Fraternity Label. Thanks to him, I got a 7-inch of Frisco Disco with the peppermint. With the peppermint.
Wow.
Don't let me go downstairs and get it.
You got to show me that.
You got a second?
Not right now.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Dope.
Thanks to him. I got the 7-inch of Frisco Disco peppermint. It's crazy.
Another perfect segue. You eventually started getting into 45s, which is the 7-inch version he was just talking about.
Right.
Now, how did that come about, and why 45s?
Okay. To set the record straight, I wasn't the only one doing it, but back in the 70s when DJs were playing in the park, like in 78, when I was seeing people in 76 on playing in the park, you had your mother and father's 45 collection. Rock Steady. Mm-hmm. Rock Steady, which came up the year it came out. Then later on, it was like people was cutting up. Believe it or not, people were not cutting it. They were going back and forth with it. I would say that. Taste of Honey, Boogie Oogie Oogie. Listen to the bass play. People used to chop that. They used to go back and forth with that. And I was like, okay. Then another joint that was popular back in those days, back in that era, was Dance With Me by Peter Brown. That was another joint. So 45s was already there. It wasn't just a straight 45 thing. It wasn't a straight album thing. It's just that there's some records that the 45 had more material on it than the album or 12. And there's some things that the 12 had that the album didn't have. So it was just a mixture of everything. But 45s was always played, when we started out. It wasn't just like strictly based on albums or straight on 45s. Now, what happened was, I was doing my thing for some time. Then they didn't hear anything from me. So they thought I fell off the face of the earth. But, I had a 9-to-5 where I worked overnights and a lot of events that I couldn't make, or, I was working weekends. So I definitely was going. And then what ended up happening, fast forward, I hooked up with Christy Z from Tools of War. And I came to one of her events in 2005. And they had an old school joint, it was supposed to be old school hip hop, supposed to be hip hop. And whoever was performing, they did a routine off of 50 Cent in the Club. So that ain't hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not back in the day what we considered hip hop. What I mean? So one day I walked up to her when I found out who she was. I said, you know what? I said, give me 15. I said, you don't know who I am, blah, 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 blah. I said, my name is so-and-so. I said, if you want to know what real hip hop is, give me 15 minutes of your time and I'll show you what real hip hop is. I said, you know what? Give me 5 minutes. I said, not that day. I said, in general, if you can give me 5-10 minutes of your time, because I was dedicated to this thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then after a while, as time went on, it seemed like we lost track of what hip hop was. And you started hearing a whole bunch of stuff that, dude, I don't know what that is. And it's being introduced as if it's the now thing to do. And I'm like, nah, man, I don't have a problem with break beats, bootlegs, none of that.
Well, you talking about 2005, so Serato was already getting in full swing.
It was in swing. And I was still playing vinyl. And I had, this is the funny thing, Harry, was deep. Cats was, when they seen what I was doing, they said, yo, man, you need to get with the 21st century, you know, CDJs, you know, it wasn't even controllers then, it was CDJs.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, CDJs, you need to get with the digital world. I'm like, yo, dude, I ain't bothering you, don't bother me. Let me do what I do. Do what you do. But then what happened was when I did Tools of War, bought out all vinyl, bought out a crate of records in a crate, like back in the day. You know, I ain't gonna fake the funk. Let's
old
rock.
School.
And Cats was like, huh? You know, like, oh, damn. You know, so it went over well. Me and Chrissy developed a relationship, you know, business relationship, which was great. And she invited me like every year. Then one day I came to the park and did a straight 45 set. Chuck City and myself. Because she had this, which I love when she did Digger's Delight. Digger's Delight was St. Nicholas Park, 127th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue in Harlem, which is Manhattan. and one day we were playing with Biz and we bought all 45s, right? Chuck and I, he had 2 crates of 45s, many small crates. He had 2, I had 2. Biz came, he rocked for a half a second. He said, yo, Rob, I'm not staying, I gotta go. I said, what you talking about? So he said, yo, I got a gig to do. So I'm looking at Chuck like, yo, dude, man, I think I might have to go home and get some more joints, man. Chuck looked at me like, yo, dude, I dare you to leave. You ain't leaving me here by my damn self. Yo, we good. So that's why I make it my business. One of the things, I make sure I got A sides and B sides. You know what I'm saying? So if I run out of time, I could always flip the record over, you know, and I could rock that, you know, and that's going to account for time. Cool. So we were the first. People could question if they want to. We were the first ones in St. Nicholas, in Tools of War, to ever do an all 45 set. Because even Superman said it. Superman, who used to do the sound system for her, he even came to me. He says, yo, Rob, you know, this is the first time a whole 45 set was ever done. And then it started to evolve. You know what I mean? And I even had cats come to me when I was playing 45s in Crotona. They was going, yo, how do you do that? I said, you got to bust up some needles, you know, and, you know, but once you get your knack to it, it'll come to you natural. Now, everybody, I'm not going to say because of me, but then I can say that to a certain extent, that because nobody was thinking about 45s. Everybody was digital. And what I did was, Chuck and I did was, when everybody swung over to the vinyl era, the analog, back to vinyl, him and I swung digital.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all can have that? Okay, now we're going to do this. And now digital, a lot of times I'm caught in the middle because a lot of times I would love to just do a digital set because we have so much madness.
Yes.
It's so much madness that we have, but it's like, I like to give the people, like the OJs, got to give the people what they want. A lot of times people come to me and they said, I really love what you do because of the fact that you still keep it vinyl. So to me, I owe it to them. You know what I mean? Now, if it's like just a warm up, I'll start off digital.
Right.
Just to throw a couple of joints on what I want to hear, and hopefully they like it. But when it's time for like the last half to get back on, I got to go straight vinyl because this is what people came to see. They were like, yo, people don't come to see me to play. Some people don't care. It's like, listen, I don't care what format you play as long as it's funky rock. Yeah. But then you got some people like, I purposely came here just to hear you rock because I know what you're going to do on vinyl. You know, so, but yeah, that's, you know, it's just amazing, man. I mean, go ahead.
What was your relationship with vinyl and digital? Did you were just about to say something about it. Let me tell you mine's first. I hated on the digital for a minute, but
I did too.
But you can do so much. Even now with the stems, you can do so much more. Yeah. You got so many remixes out there. I connected with a couple of remix cats, which I'm gonna have eventually on the show. And you just got a wider range of that same disco song. I'm a disco fan. Right. You got a wider range instead of that one, either 45 version or the 112-inch version or the one special version that Tom Moulton may have mixed.
Right. I got you. Yeah. You know what? I'm long on that. when digital first came out, I hated it because how dare they? How dare they perpetrate a fraud and try to imitate something we've been doing all this time? And see, with me, I think the reason why I hated it so much, I'm a hands-on person. I love how vinyl feels. I love it. There's nothing like it. Nothing on this planet like it. It's all right to get into another lane and do something, but you can't forget the origin of where it came from. It's just like jazz. It's like any genre of music. You got to know. A lot of times they tell you need to know music theory. You can't just play an instrument without knowing something about it. Right. So I was against it. To the point, I'm gonna share this with you. One of the first things I got from, because Tools of War was cool about it. Christy had endorsed. She had endorsers. So we had endorsements. So, Rain Serrato, Techniques, all these companies, Stanton, all these other companies.
Wow. And
what happened was, she was like, yo, we don't pay you, but we pay you with equipment. So, okay, works for me. So what ended up happening, that's how I got my first Rain 56 mixer, was through Tools of War. Dude, thanks to Christy. I gotta give Christy a shout. Thanks to Christy. She's the one that I told her one day, I was playing on the mixer. I said, oh man, I want that mixer. That mixer's bad. She said, I'll see what I can do. But even before that, I walked in the park to check out the event in 2005, and when she says, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to play for 2006, because she hired me to do that. She presented me with Serato, the SL1 box, in the case, the whole bit. And back then it was expensive.
Yeah. But I paid $6.99 for mine and only messed with it 3 times.
But I got one for you. As soon as he gave it to me, my son was with me. I passed it to him. I said, yo, you can have it. I didn't even know what it was. I could have cared less, because I'm a vinyl DJ. When you're stuck in a pocket or something, that's what it is. So he says, my son is brave, because he goes, Pops, I can't take it because you don't know what you're giving up. I said, son, it don't matter. I said, listen, I want you to have it because that's how much I love him. I'm like, yo, dude. Now, if he was me, I'd have took it. And I said, you can borrow it anytime you want. Yeah. But and what ended up happening was one day shout out to my nephew, Philly Phil. They was in the basement of my crib. We call it the studio. And my son goes, Pops, can I use your Serato? I said, yeah. Let me tell you how far this goes back. My mom had an old IBM computer that looked like the Fred Flintstone TV, you know what I'm saying? 13-inch joint. And they take it downstairs to the basement, right? They made a little room on the side. They read the instructions on whatever they did, hooked it up. I let them do what they do. I was upstairs, man. I was eating, man. I ate something, got me something to eat or whatever. I hear music. So I run down the stairs. I see these like eyeballs, one spinning when you spin the record, the other one is playing forward. I'm like, I said, yo, let me check this out. And they were playing beats, like the beats that I had, so they had downloaded some files. So I pulled it back a little bit. I said, yo, this don't feel bad, but I still was prejudiced. And the reason why I'm saying this is my love for vinyl is this. I love to see the various album labels. I love to see different labels and cut off of them. And a lot of people can't do that. Ooh, okay. Cold Crush Brothers.
Look at that.
Yes.
I wonder how many people out there got one of these.
Not too many. Not too many. But yeah, I with especially with 45s. Like back in the days when I first started getting into cutting, when I found out there's an art of cutting, you had to make a line so that you put it 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever. I did that for a hot minute with tape. Because I didn't want no permanent lines on my record, so I could always take the tape off. But then when I started doing the 45 thing, I wanted to make it more challenging. And Chuck and I, we both came up with the concept of, you know what, we need to carry light. So we started carrying 45s. Now, not all the time the 45s are going to have the same break as some of them may not even have the brake on it, but
right, because
they
are so small. Yeah.
So, but then what happened was, to make it even more challenging, is that before, I had a record, I had Funky Drummer bootleg taped on top of another album, and this way it was easy to spin back.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what the record is. It was Bra Samande.
Uh-huh.
So when I used to go 1, 2, 3, 4, hit it, boom, boom, because it was right there.
Yeah.
Then I said, "Is that cheating?"
Yeah, that was innovative.
And actually it was, because I picked a record that I had liked. It wasn't so much that I did it for cheating purposes. When I did the count, I wanted to be able to go in the Bra. So I said the best way I could do that is to tape it to Bra. Did that. Then 30 years later, they had this big event at SOB's, right? And, talking about records, bringing what you have that's from back in the days. And that's what I had for 30 years. Funky Drummer attached to Bra. And I did that. And then when the event was over, when I got home, me and Chuck talked, and I said, "Yo, man, I'm thinking about removing Funky Drummer off of Bra. Should I do it? It's been on tape. It's been taped on for 30 years. He says, "Yo, dude, it's up to you." And the only reason why I did it is because since I was getting more and more into the 45 thing, the other side of Funky Drummer is Yellow Sunshine.
Okay.
Can't cut if it's glued to the record.
Right.
So after 30 years, I removed it. So now I can play both songs. Yeah, man.
Did you have like 30 years of tape residue and everything on it?
You know what? Believe it or not, it didn't affect the record.
Oh, nice.
Because I didn't tape the actual vinyl. I taped the label.
Oh, okay.
So the vinyl never got damaged. So good. that was a good part of that.
And it was protected all them years.
Yeah,
at least that side.
Yeah. So that was one of the things, And then I just want to throw this in. I know this is going back to the beginning. We had came out with a record 30 years later, 30 plus years, thanks to Undercover Brother for making this happen, and it's on Fraternity Labels. It's the original Mean Machine by the Mean Machine Crew.
Okay.
It's called The Original by the original Mean Machine Crew. It's a record we did back in '81. Shout out to Red Alert for playing it on the air. Because anytime we had like a demo, he would rock it for us, and I really appreciate him for it because he didn't have to. It's the first of its kind. It's a 10-inch rap record because somebody tried to check me on that. It's the first 10-inch rap record on 45 on a 10-inch with a big giant hole in the middle.
Wow.
Never been done. Now, I'm not going to say 10 inches with a big hole hasn't been done, but it never been done in rap.
Right.
Yeah, and it's on Fraternity.
Wow.
I got to get you a copy. I got to definitely get you a copy.
Yes, because I am definitely a vinyl collector.
And then, no, I got you. I'll give it to you on test press, but the test press ain't got the big hole.
No, I want.
See, it's one or the other, you know what I mean? But the reason why I came that direction, I want to shout out Undercover Brother, Jimmy Hazel, who is the guitarist. I'm playing drums on this track.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, it's a double.
Yeah, so you're DJing and drumming.
Well, on the record, there's no DJing. It's just straight band stuff, and that's thanks to Jimmy Hazel. Jimmy Hazel, we grew up way back in the days. We were in a band together called Hot Ice, and I was the drummer. Shout out to the Hot Ice crew. Want to shout out my MCs: Crazy Eddie, Little Rich, Barry B, Little Bit, MC Little Bit, bad female MCs, bad. That's another story I got to tell you about, but we'll talk about that. But anyway, but basically I'm from a family. I passed down DJing to like 7 nephews.
Okay.
Philly Phil, well, his name is Philip Ferrari. He was DJ, he was French Montana's DJ for a minute.
Okay.
And I got another nephew, his name is Anthony, but I forgot what he goes by. He was doing production with J. Cole's.
Okay.
And then I got a nephew Michael. I got my nephew Rob. My name's Super Rockin' Cool Keith. And Kool Keith changed his name because of Kool Keith from Ultramagnetic. Shout out to Ultramagnetic, y'all my peeps. He didn't want to be another Kool Keith, so he called himself Super Rockin' Kool Keith.
Right.
So, and then I have my nephew, they call him Craze One, and he used to rock with Funk Dubious. Yeah, it's just a lot of history going on. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it was all passed. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna send you a clip. I'll send you a clip later where we all in the basement and we're doing a merry-go-round.
Okay.
We was just bugging, family, ain't nothing like family going around in circles doing what they do. So, but I'm glad I shouted everybody out because I want nobody cursing me out later on.
Oh man. So we've been on for a nice little minute. What is going on now with DJ Rockin Rob, no G, and what's going on in the future? What do you have coming up or planned, being that this year, as of the air of this show, it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which will be coming in a few months in August of 2022. What do you have going on now, and what do you have going on in the future?
To be honest, it's whatever God got planned for me, man, because there's people who know what I do, but that doesn't mean I get invited to do things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And shout out to anybody who's ever supported me, and Kenny Dope and the Spinners and Scratch, and thanks to Tone, Kaz, Christy, when they do events, especially like Kaz took it over now, so Kaz is doing Crotona Park. If I get a chance to do it, if I'm invited, I rock. You know what I mean? If I can, if it doesn't interfere with work schedule. The same with Tone. I've done some, matter of fact, Tone, my partner Chuck City and my son Flawless, we did Cold Crush beer release party up in Springfield, Massachusetts last year. And that was awesome. We had a really great time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I don't, to be honest, I don't know what the future holds. I just ask for good health, and that I'm still able to do what I can do, still pick up the needle, drop it, backspin, and if I have that, whatever drops my way, no reasonable offer refused, I'm down to do.
Right.
To really answer, I wish I could answer it better, to say, yeah, this is happening, that's happening. I really don't know what's happening. And this is what makes DJing still exciting and fun for me. I still treat it as if I was just doing it for the first time. And I love it. And I still love it. I'm gonna love it to the day I leave this planet, man.
Right.
I'm not stopping no time soon. It's just too much to do. Not enough time to do it. And but I plan on getting it done.
Right.
Whether it be through, I have to archive and do it through recording, as far as CDs. I even make a tape to play around. I even got stuff on 8-track. If y'all remember what an 8-track is, I got stuff on 8-track. My humble beginnings is on 8-track, believe it or not, and I still got the tapes. Yeah, it's crazy.
Nice.
But I just want people to have a good time and don't stress over the small stuff, man. Let's take music back to when it was fun, because now it got to the point where it's not fun, or it doesn't appear to be fun. And that's what I want to bring back and keep going, in my lifetime until I leave. And everybody enjoyed itself.
Did you pass that down to your son and your nephews about bringing fun music back?
Oh yeah. My son, when you see him, he'll stop you from dancing. You know what I mean? Because you want to see what the hell it is that he's doing. Because to hear the combinations, like a boxer thing,
I was like, dude, he was battling somebody else, and I'll leave an overlay over one of these things of him not playing the song, but him DJing. But
they had a fun battle.
It was
a fun battle. Him and DJ Pearly, who is a DMC champion.
Oh,
yeah, man. She's a DMC champion. They put that together. Had a fun spar battle, and what a lot of people may not have saw, or they may have saw it, which is crazy. He had gloves on.
Yes.
Nobody's ever done that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. So you got a couple of those. I don't know if y'all see, you know. Oh, and I got to shout out my posse from Japan, man. Coco, Muro, I gotta, you know, Taro, I gotta and Koji, I gotta shout them out because they the reason why I had the opportunity to go to Japan.
Oh, nice.
Back in 2015. I know we've been talking. We might have to do a part
two. We're gonna have to do a part 2 of the time because there's more stuff that I want to know. But I don't want this thing to drag on for 3 hours.
I know, I got you.
I'd rather break it up into a couple of parts.
But, I got you. Yeah, well do.
Man,
I'm glad we got this opportunity to connect finally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've been working on this for a little while now.
Yes. And we flying at the handle and we just, you know, we doing our thing, man. But I thank you again. I have much respect and I thank you. And shout out to the Mean Machine crew. I love y'all, you know, and all that. And thanks again.
Well, wrapping this up, this is Harry the Big Dog. I know I didn't even introduce myself in the beginning. We just really jumped into this. This is Harry the Big Dog, and this is the DJ interview. We are on most Tuesdays at 8 p.m.-ish Eastern time. So make sure you tune in. Usually I, expand the screen, but I will leave my man DJ Rockin Rob on with me to close this thing out. Anybody else, Rob, did you want to shout out before we get out of here?
Oh yeah. I got it. I gotta do this because this is no way. I gotta shout out my crew from Belgium, Extra Mad Fat, Cool Car, who's the MC engineer extraordinaire, Craigo. Shout you out. My man DJ One Flight. If I left anybody out, don't beat me up. It's be on part 2.
We'll put it in the credits and let the credits run for 10 minutes. All his shout outs.
Oh yeah. Most def. Shout out my man DJ One Flight. Gotta hit him up. Flight is my dude, man. Brooklyn's finest.